Stream health is good, and we are a go on, we should be a go on Periscope and YouTube. Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Praying Medic, and it looks like it's time for another QAnon update.
I'm not seeing you.
So, I am trying something new. I am trying to simulcast on YouTube and on Periscope. And we'll see if this goes live or not. Let me refresh my YouTube channel here and see if I've got a video. I'm not seeing anything. Let's see. If you can hear me, let me know. Hey honey, I got a bunch of people on YouTube. We're chatting it up. All right, we're live on YouTube. Sweet.
I'm not seeing you on Periscope though.
Well, that's an issue, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Hey, how's everyone doing on YouTube? This is my first live from Oconomowoc. Oh, from Quebec, Canada. How's it going? Loud and clear? All right, cool. Hey, you know what? I'm going to try something, a live Q update on YouTube. I tried it on Facebook, and I can't do YouTube and Facebook at the same time, so I tried it on Periscope. It didn't work. How about if we do a live YouTube broadcast? Since you're my biggest audience, does that sound okay? Yeah, it's showing that I'm trying my new platform. It's a multi-streaming thing, and this is definitely a new thing for me. So glad you were all able to join me. I've got the latest Q update ready to go. So what I'll do is we'll do the update, and I'll stick around for a while if you guys want to ask questions. Does that sound okay? All right, I am going to hit the update in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, Patriots. It is Praying Medic, back with another QAnon update. Today is March 20th, and this update covers Q posts beginning on March 15th, going up to the present. I just checked the Q pages, and we are current on all Q posts. QAnon.pub and QAnonposts.com are two websites where you can find current Q posts. If you do have a mobile device, people have been reporting some errors and some problems accessing them, but I've had no problem viewing them on my laptop and my desktop computers. My theme for this week is Bring the Rain. It's going to be a short update, so let's get started. I do have a correction I'd like to make. Some friends of mine pointed this out to me. I did not post this in a Q video previously or a Q thread. This is just something I posted on Twitter. Someone had found this PDF, which was published by the Office of Foreign Assets Control, which is a list of people and agencies that OFAC has, and it is really used to help financial institutions know which agencies and individuals have their assets frozen. So I said previously that this list was a result of the December 21st executive order by President Trump, and that is really not true. Some of the names on that list may be on this OFAC list, but not all of them. OFAC has been publishing this list for many years, so I apologize for the confusion. Okay, let's go to Q's first post. This is from March 15th. Boom. And Q posted again. Boom, boom, boom. So we've seen this before. I believe Q is telling us there's some bad news coming for the bad guys. People have been asking this morning in light of these packages that have been exploding in Texas, if I think this is related, I don't. I don't think that Q and the president's team would be posting these kind of messages if they knew that there were going to be bombs being detonated and they had the ability to stop it. So I don't think they're related. That's just my opinion. However, one of the booms could be this one. General Flynn made a rare public appearance to endorse Omar Navarro. This was, I believe, on Thursday or Friday of last week. And Flynn's return to public life should be frightening to the establishment. He's been pretty silent for a long time. And if he's coming back out into the limelight, it could mean bad news for the deep state. We'll talk about more on that in just a minute. Q posted this. Iran is next, and there's the kill box symbol. RT days after, RT Kenya, no coincidences, track, important, MB, boom, Q. So Q has previously posted about Iran, saying Iran is next. This was in context with the North Korea talks, and I believe that it just means that the president has Iran next on his list of things to do as far as peace talks go. RT, I believe, is Rex Tillerson. Days after Q posted, Rex Tillerson was removed as Secretary of State while he was down in Kenya doing a three-nation tour. No coincidences. It was strategic. We need to keep track of it. It's important, and it has something to do with Muslim Brotherhood. Interesting that this post from Q was on the 15th, and yesterday on Sunday, the president made a short speech about Tillerson and why he was removed. Let's listen to the video.
As far as Rex Tillerson is concerned, I very much appreciate his commitment and his service, and I wish him well. He's a good man.
Mr. President, what can you tell Rex Tillerson? Mr. President, what can you say to Rex?
Rex and I have been talking about this for a long time. We got along actually quite well, but we disagreed on things. When you look at the Iran deal, I think it's terrible. I guess it was okay. I wanted to either break it or do something, and he felt a little bit differently. So we were not really thinking the same. With Mike Pompeo, we have a very similar thought process. I think it's going to go very well.
And the president here did confirm that Tillerson was basically removed because he and the president have differences on Iran, which confirms what Q posted. All right, this is Q's next post. Extreme efforts to kill login devices, extreme efforts to censor, extreme efforts. Dead cat bounce, enjoy the show, bring the rain, Q. So Q has told us previously there's a lot of effort to censor conservative viewpoints, censor on social media. And here's one example on Reddit. Last week they banned the Q subreddit CBTS_stream. And if I'm not mistaken, they've moved over to the Great Awakening on Reddit. And they're trying not to get that stream banned or that thread banned. So obviously Reddit doesn't like the fact that they're discussing Q. Here's another example. Last week, Drudge tweeted out the president's slogan, "Keep America Great," and Twitter marked the tweet with a sensitive material warning. And here's an article on it from True Pundit. This is YouTube. Their latest form of censorship is they are going to be posting directly Wikipedia links to articles in the hope of stemming the spread of conspiracy videos. Of course, they get to decide what they consider to be conspiracy. This is an article from Wired.com. So yeah, we're seeing more censorship. And I am going to do my best not to get in trouble with YouTube and Twitter. I'm trying to bind my P's and Q's so I can stick around and help you all understand Q. All right, dead cat bounce. We've seen this previously. It's an investing term. It is a brief recovery and a long downtrend. And it comes from the fact that even a dead cat will bounce if you drop them from a high enough altitude. Q says that the mainstream media, Deep State and Silicon Valley, are trying to recover from heavy losses. They're in a downtrend. So they're trying to get a little dead cat bounce going. And an Anon posted this: please make it the most glorious dead cat bounce anyone has ever seen. Please, Q. I like the Anons. They're having fun with this. Bring the rain is a military term. It's been used for some years. It means basically drop the airstrike, drop the bombs, and bring the heavy artillery. So it's a metaphor. Q is saying, hey, it's time for the good guys to come in and do some fighting. One of the Anons began to doubt whether we should trust Jeff Sessions. Q team, trust Sessions still or nah? Why is Fox saying McCabe is going to skate? Q says trust the plan, full control. This was on the 15th, the day before Sessions announced at the last hour that he was going to follow the advice of the Department of Personnel and the Inspector General and fire Andrew McCabe just before he was eligible for his pension. So is that one of the booms? I think so. Trust Sessions. We can trust him. Sessions is a good guy. Don't believe the fake news. This is something that one of the Anons posted. It's a CIA a little screenshot and then one from the State Department. And the Anon said, Pompeo is Trump's guy. As head of CIA, gathered intel and all the shady stuff that the CIA was doing, both here and overseas. He moves to the State Department to use that intel to help free the world of the CIA BS. That's probably a pretty good summary. Q says, trust Kansas. Mike Pompeo was a representative from the state of Kansas. So it's essentially trust Pompeo. All right, if you're interested, this is a Wikipedia screenshot, Mike Pompeo. If you want to know more about him, you can go there and check out his background. And interestingly enough, on Sunday, this is a continuing part of the president's address. He talks about Mike Pompeo and their relationship, and let's listen to the video.
I've worked with Mike Pompeo now for quite some time. Tremendous energy, tremendous intellect. We're always on the same wavelength. The relationship has been very good, and that's what I need as Secretary of State. I think Mike Pompeo will be a truly great Secretary of State. I have total confidence in him. And as far as Rex Tillerson is concerned, you look at the Iran deal. I think it's terrible. I guess it was okay. I wanted to either break it or do something, and he felt a little bit differently. So we were not really thinking the same. With Mike Pompeo, we have a very similar thought process. I think it's going to go very well.
So the president basically confirms that he and Pompeo are on the same page, and he is looking forward to working with Pompeo to help, I think, create that peace agreement with Iran, which Q said is the next thing on their agenda. All right. This is the next post by Q. Just going to read it. At 19 brackets and then brackets first, at brackets 3 brackets first. The link, brackets John Perry Barlow, brackets 2, 3, and 4. We have the sub, hostage release, 1,000 pieces. So what the heck does all that mean? Well, I am not exactly sure. I will say this. Somebody posted a comment last night on this thread and said that 19 is if you take Edward Snowden, his full name, first, middle, and last name, and put it all together, there's 19 characters. And this person said that this is actually one of Q's names for Snowden. And it is an @ symbol there. So Q is talking at somebody. And the 3, they said, is the CIA, because there's only 3 letters in CIA. So this could be about Snowden up here and the CIA down here. And Q has been talking a lot about Snowden and the CIA and the link. And we know that the link pertains to Russia and Snowden. So it would make sense that this is a reference to Snowden, the CIA, and maybe Russia. And this is in order. There's first, second, third, fourth. So they're working out a plan. And look, we've seen this before. There's when there's a kill box, that means they're putting into operation a plan to accomplish an objective. So something is going on. We have the sub hostage release. Let's look at that. So here's one of the Anons. Boom. They found Snowden at Subway. He was ordering a number 234, all toasted. The guy making the sandwich was John Perry Barlow. He's a Q follower, and he called Q team, and they arrested Snowden before he could take the sub sandwich back to his pad. They cut up the sub sandwich into 1,000 pieces. Add this to the bread. Yeah, I don't think so, but it was funny. Right. So let me go down to another guess. And this Anon is kind of looking back at the number 3 and the number 19 in brackets. It says that tasked brackets 3 to remove followers in drip order and restrict. That was from a previous Q post. What brackets 19 people are currently meeting in a safe room, heavily guarded. That was in reference to the Nunez memo, and I don't think that's related to this. And then there's brackets 19, immediates no longer with us. I don't know that that is related to this either. And then there's brackets 19, which cease to exist immediately upon the harm of select individuals. That could be a reference to Snowden, except there's no @ there. So things to look into and to pray about. We know that the 1,000 pieces reference is a reference to JFK's promise to destroy the CIA. I will splinter the CIA into 1,000 pieces and scatter it to the wind. So we know that part of it. One of the Anons just took a guess about the submarine, said it's symbolic, thinking it might be a reference to Red October, and that in the same way that Q and his team are hunting Snowden, they might be, a metaphor with hunting the Red October. Interesting guess. I posted this really just because I wanted to show people the different ways in which the Anons think. Some see things symbolically, some see them more literally. Here is another guess on the sub reference. Back in November, Argentina lost a submarine, and there was a search going on for a long time. Russia was involved, we were involved. They never did find it. So is Q saying that they found that sub? I don't know. Here's another possibility. If you have not read this article, you might want to take a look at it. This is an article, and let me click on it here. It's from the BBC, and it's called The Secret on the Ocean Floor. You can just search for it and you'll find it. This is a fascinating article about the disappearance of a Soviet sub in the 1970s. The CIA created this secret plot to raise this submarine to get the nuclear missiles and the launch codes and all the information from it. And they did it covertly by building a ship, and they faked out everybody and told them that they were actually doing undersea mining. So it is a fascinating story. If you're interested, you might want to check it out. It's a bit of a long story, but it really does uncover some of the ways of the CIA and the crazy stuff that they do. That's a long shot. I just threw it in there for people to research. This is another possibility. So 2 days after Q posted, the Navy commissioned the USS Colorado, which is the fleet's most advanced attack submarine. So Q said, we have the sub. I don't know. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but a lot of possibilities. And it may be something completely different. So Q also talked about the hostage release. I think that has to do with the release of 3 American hostages who are being held in North Korea, and Sweden is helping to negotiate their release. That's my best guess on that. Just to summarize, I think that the events involving the 19, which could be Snowden, the 3, which could be the CIA, the link, the sub, and the hostages, is going to help bring about the removal of the CIA's influence in North Korea. That is my guess. We'll see if I'm right. So we are still on March 15th, and Q posted this: March Madness. Public will know soon. Obviously, it's a reference to the NCAA tournament. It is the month of March. What will the public know soon? I don't know. I guess we're going to find out, huh? All right. Q's next post is rather long, and I'm just going to read it for you, and then we'll break it down section by section. How bad is the corruption? FBI, past and present. Number 1, number 2, plus 29, parentheses 16. DOJ, past and present. Number 1, number 2, plus 18. State, past and present. Number 1, plus 41. Removal is the least of their problems. Projection. Russia, there's an arrow sign, D and Hillary. Twitter bots, arrow sign, Google operated, not Russia. Narrative and political slant. Biden/China. Big development, traders everywhere. America for sale. Flynn, targeted, why? Who knows where the bodies are buried? Cleared of all charges. Trump admin V2. Election theft. Last hope. Congressional focus. Impeach. They think you are stupid. They think you'll follow the stars. They openly call you sheep and cattle. There will come a time when none of them will be able to walk down the street. The biggest fear, public awakening, Q. So let's break this down. Q said we're looking at corruption involving 2 past or present FBI directors and 1 deputy director. The directors are number 1, deputy director is number 2. I'm going with Robert Mueller as number 1 FBI director. James Comey is the 2nd FBI director, and Andrew McCabe as the number 2. Yes, I do believe Robert Mueller is guilty of some corruption. Whether he cuts a deal with the Trump administration or not remains to be seen. We'll have to see how that plays out. So then Q also said plus 29, parentheses 16, 29 more FBI agents and employees who are corrupt. The 16, I don't know, is that 16 who are no longer with the agency or 16 who are still there? Is it prior to 2016? I don't know what the 16 is. Going to the DOJ. So we have a similar thing with DOJ. We have 1 Attorney General, I believe it's Eric Holder, another Attorney General, which is Loretta Lynch, and a Deputy Attorney General, Sally Yates. Some people have said it's Rod Rosenstein. You know, I don't know that it's worth mincing words. We know that Sally Yates is probably going to be implicated in some of the crimes, plus 18 more attorneys who are known to be corrupt. All right, State Department, same deal. 1 is John Kerry, Secretary of State. 1 is Hillary Clinton, Secretary of State, and then 41 more diplomats or officials who are known to be corrupt. Q says about all of them, removal is the least of their problems. Gitmo is a much more serious problem. They're all going to be flying Con Air pretty soon. And Q said projection. What is projection? It's a tendency to attribute your own wrong behavior and attitudes to others. Q tied it to Hillary, the Dems, and Russia. Hillary and the Democrats are heavily connected to Russia. Therefore, you have to accuse Trump and us of being Russian bots, of Trump being connected to Russia, being one of Putin's pawns, right? This article examines MSNBC's obsession with Russia and Trump, and it points out that the network's paranoia may actually lead to an increased chance of war with Russia. They kind of go through and categorize all of MSNBC's reporting, noting that they have reported on the Trump-Russia collusion narrative more than any other network, and they have completely ignored the catastrophic war in Yemen and a lot of other serious issues that most other news agencies are reporting on. They just seem to be obsessed with Trump and Russia. And of course, while insisting that Trump is Putin's puppet, the mainstream media ignores the actual ties that the Clintons have to Russia. This is a Chicago Tribune. It's an op-ed saying that Bill and Hillary Clinton should be investigated for their own ties to Russia. So yeah, projection. That's what it's all about. Well, Q said Twitter bots Google operated, not Russia. It's a narrative and a political slant. Let me read this to you. This is from 4chan. This was posted by someone who claims to be an anonymous Google employee. Hey everyone, this is my first time posting on 4chan, but I need to get this out and I need to stay anonymous. I work for Google. I'm not going to name the internal tech department for obvious reasons. I don't want anyone to pinpoint who I am, but I'm in tech and I work with AI, artificial intelligence. I'll explain. My team and I created AI bots for Twitter. These bots are slightly different than regular AI bots. They're remote signal bots, but I'll explain what they do. My team and a human intelligence team, which is really just a propaganda team, work together to make certain topics trend and persuade public opinion, which persuades political pressure. We do this by a groupthink method. We have a name for it internally, but consensus cracking is a more used name externally. The bots were created, they go into Twitter conversations and they push a narrative. Some of the bots are verified accounts, and they start by arguing a point of view against someone, and then more bots join in and they thumbs up the comment. We're doing it with gun control now. More people see a consensus of gun control and people on the fence getting persuaded to our narrative. Then politicians get pressured by thinking it's actual people. We had whole meetings about 4chan because you guys, specifically this board, are disrupting the bots. You're basically doing what we are doing, but you're real people. We, and not necessarily me, devised a plan to knock you guys from Twitter. We accused Russia of doing what we are doing and used the narrative to wipe out suspected bots, which we knew weren't bots at all. I feel like crap about this. Here's the thing. I'm actually a Democrat and I hate guns, but I believe in balance of the people more than anything. We are using software as a political tool instead of the will of the people. This is also a violation of the Securities and Exchange Commission. We're fabricating Twitter users and using them for stocks and advertisers. I signed that I wouldn't discuss this, so I need to stay anonymous. So yeah, this guy, if he's legit, or she, works for Google and says, yeah, they're using bots to push narratives. Projection, doing the very same things that they're accusing us of doing. Interesting how that works. Q said, Biden, China, big development, traders everywhere, America for sale. This is an article that talks, there's a book that just came out by the author of Clinton Cash. And it talks about this trip that Joe Biden made on Air Force Two while he was vice president. And he took his son Hunter with him and made a big deal with the Bank of China. Let me get that article here. He took his son Hunter with him, set up a private equity firm that was worth over $1 billion at the time. So if you're interested, it's on the Daily Mail. You can look that up. Interesting article. Q says America for sale. Yeah, they were selling everything. Selling influence, selling favors, you name it. So Q said Flynn was targeted. Why? Who knows where all the bodies are buried? Cleared of all charges. I don't know if Thomas Paine reads Q, but in this latest article on General Flynn, Thomas Paine actually wrote an article saying that Flynn may take a flamethrower to D.C. before he's done, and says, I think, this is quoting an anonymous friend of Flynn's, I think he's gearing up to name names. Flynn's confident said he knows where many political bodies are buried in D.C., and what does he have to lose? Nothing. So yeah, Flynn, as a free man, if he is cleared of all charges, is going to be a danger to the deep state. That's why they wanted to get rid of him. That's why they wanted to discredit him. They knew that he was the most dangerous person to their plan. On March 15th, Q said, Trump admin V2. We're going to listen to a video here. This is just the last bit of the president talking about his cabinet.
I've gotten to know a lot of people very well over the last year, and I'm really at a point where we're getting very close to having the cabinet and other things that I want.
And as you can see, the president says he just about has the cabinet that he wants. Is that version 2? Q has warned us that more changes in the cabinet are coming, and I find it very encouraging that Q has been telling us days ahead of time exactly what the president has been telling us days later. So then Q said this, election theft, it's their last hope. The focus is on Congress. They think if they get enough of the right people in there, they can impeach Trump. That's their last hope. So the deep state is going down if they don't impeach the president. They think you're stupid. They think you'll follow the stars. Whatever the stars say, we'll just swallow it and follow them. They call you cattle, sheep. There will come a time when none of them will be able to walk down the street. That is their biggest fear. We're not going to pay any attention to them. They're going to be shamed and humiliated. Public awakening, the Great Awakening. Q posted this on the 17th. Next week, boom, 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 Q. And then U.S. Marine Corps activated, U.S. Parentheses 3, Q. So that's actually this week. Today's Monday. And we should be expecting some big news. I was not able to verify whether the Marines were activated. I don't really know how to do that. I think it's a reference to Marines being activated in the United States, not overseas. But we just got to trust Q on that. Q then posted this, panic mode. Enjoy the show. Yes, the deep state is panicking. James Comey tweeted out on the 17th. This is taking a swing at President Trump. Mr. President, the American people will hear my story very soon, and they can judge for themselves who is honorable and who is not. Okay, James, if you say so. He was trying to give a little bit of support for Andrew McCabe. On the 17th, the president tweeted about Andrew McCabe. John Brennan said this, when the full extent of your venality, moral turpitude, and political corruption becomes known, you'll take your rightful place as a disgraced demagogue in the dustbin of history. You may scapegoat Andy McCabe, but you will not destroy America. America will triumph over you. Well, Brennan will be lucky not to end up in jail. And then, of course, Samantha Power had to get in on the action. You remember Chuck Schumer warning Trump that the deep state has 6 ways from Sunday to get even with you. So Samantha Power warned Trump it's not a good idea to piss off John Brennan because, well, you know, he might be able to do some bad things to you. Was that a veiled threat? I think so. All right, this is the last post from Q. Why are trips allowed? Whitelist Q. I believe the question being asked here is why, if Hillary has been before a judge, why is she allowed to make trips overseas? There is a whitelist of countries that she can go to. She recently visited India, and look, Trump has already gone to India. He has taken care of business there. Hillary going to India isn't going to hurt the president. So number one, they're allowing people like Hillary to go to places where they can't do any damage. Secondly, they're allowing them to go to countries where there is a extradition treaty. So if she gets any ideas about not coming back to the States, she will be brought back. All right, that is all I have for you on this QAnon update for March 20th. Thank you all for following me. Thank you for sharing this with your friends. If you like my channel, you can subscribe to it. Thank you for your financial support. If you do want to support my work, you can do that on PayPal. I'll catch you on the next update. This is Praying Medic signing off. Hey everybody. Alrighty, that is my Q update for today. My first live broadcast on YouTube with Q. I don't know, I'm really grateful that everybody joined the live broadcast. Do you guys have any questions? Real quick before I go, I was hoping to do a simulcast on Periscope and YouTube, but it didn't work out. So I'm going to have to jump over to Periscope and do another update. Hey, how's it going? I hate Google. Hey, Connie. If anyone has a question, real quick, I would be happy to answer it if you have something. Podesta arrest verified. I don't know. You know, a lot of these people are going to be appearing in front of military courts. The press is typically not allowed to go into a military court, even when a grand jury is impaneled. A lot of times everything is done under the cover of secrecy. The indictments are sealed until they're open. So I don't know who has been indicted and who hasn't, who has been in front of a judge and who hasn't. I am just having faith that Q knows what he's talking about. Not expecting that it's going to show up in the mainstream media. Although there was an interesting report today about a flight that was diverted. It flew into Langley, Virginia, and then went to Gitmo. I didn't post it on Twitter, didn't post it publicly. It's out there. If you look for it, you can find it. Susan, you're in Arizona too? Right on. Cool. Why is Obama in New Zealand? I don't know. I have no idea. You know, undermining President Trump, probably. It's mostly what he does. Why military courts? How does that work with civilians? Under the powers that the president has been given in the Constitution, the president has the ability to prosecute civilians in a military court if they're being charged with crimes like treason. And civilian courts are corrupt. So Trump is not screwing around. He is taking some of these people into the military code of justice, and that's the way it's going to be. And it's perfectly constitutional. Yes, Joe DeGeneva has been hired by Trump. Awesome move. We like that. He'll help get the word out about what's going on. Hey, what's up, Tammy? Obama can seek asylum all he wants. You have to realize that Obama and Hillary are surrounded 24 hours a day by Secret Service agents. Do you know who Secret Service agents work for? They work for the president. And as soon as the Department of Justice says arrest them, the Secret Service agents are going to grab them and bring them back to the States. That's how it's going to work. So they're not going to get away. Anyone who has a Secret Service detail is not going to escape. Just ain't going to happen. I have had some dreams, Lynette. Thank you for asking. I'm going to say this about the dreams. The dreams that I'm seeing, I see the Q phenomenon exploding exponentially. More and more people are getting tuned in to Q. My wife was talking with a friend of hers she hasn't talked to in a couple of years. She didn't know about Q. She didn't really know about her political persuasion. They started talking. They found out they had a lot in common as far as politics go. And my wife is red-pilling her about Q. So in my dreams, I've seen just more and more people interested in Q, learning about Q, and I see it growing. Those are the most recent dreams I've had. Let's see. I'm just looking to see if there's any other questions I can answer. A lot of questions I can't answer. I'll be honest. Ben Swan. No, Ben Swan is back on the radar. Ben Swan, if you look for him, he is back on. He's on Twitter. I'm not sure if he's on Facebook. He has a monetized platform where he's taking donations to help him do his investigative journalism. He is back. He came back a couple of months ago. You can look around and search for him. You'll find him. How to best spread the word in the UK, Roy? That's a good question. Most of the word about Q is being spread social media, YouTube, Twitter, some on Facebook. Word of mouth is another good way to do it. Just talking to your friends and family, finding a way to... Look, one of the cool things about Q is Q talks about a lot of different subjects that are of interest to many different people. And like my son, stepson, is interested in the internet. He's an electrical engineer, and he is very interested in electronics and computers. He runs a Unix system on his computer. He's a big advocate of freedom of information, and he doesn't like Big Brother tracking. He doesn't like Google, doesn't like internet surveillance. So my wife is going to, when we get together with him in the next couple of weeks, she is going to slowly introduce the subject of Q to my stepson through his interest in the internet and privacy. And if you just find out something that people are interested in that Q is talking about, you can make them aware of Q by just, bringing up some of the things that Q has been pointing out about that subject. That's one way to do it. Lots more Christians are talking about Q, Veronica. I don't see why people wouldn't be safe in California. I wouldn't want to live there. I do have to drive through there from time to time. I visit there once in a while. I could not live in California just because of the regulation and the cost of everything. It's just not my cup of tea. I love Arizona. I do have a Gab account, by the way. I'm not real active on Gab, but I'm going to try to be more active in the future. Don't worry about Fox not bringing up Q. They will. They will. It's only a matter of time before Fox has to start talking about Q. And look, this is my perspective on Q. The president addresses the nation and the world through the media, through Fox and MSNBC and CNN, and he also addresses the world through Twitter. But there are people who are not on Twitter, and there are people who don't watch Fox. And Q is speaking for the president on a secret network that's kind of out of the mainstream, that doesn't get a lot of attention, but it does get the attention of people who wouldn't normally tune into Fox, or maybe not even be on Twitter. So Q's goal is not to be on Fox. Q's goal is to spread the word about what Trump is up to networks outside of Fox. Fox is carrying Trump's message pretty well, but Trump's message needs to reach other people who don't listen to Fox. So Q and all the intel people that are dropping information, they're trying to get the information into all the cracks and crevices of society, places where people wouldn't normally go. So, it's not like we need to pray that Q is on MSNBC and CNN. I mean, that would be cool, but what we really need to pray about is that Q would become a phenomenon in many different areas of society where people really don't know what Trump is up to. That's, I believe, what Q's mission is. Q's mission is to reach people that Trump can't reach himself. I'm not going yet. Hang on. The mainstream news. I'm going to drink some coffee. Hang on a sec. The mainstream media is going broke. The reason I got on Twitter and Periscope and YouTube was because God gave me a dream over a year ago where I saw the president at war with the mainstream media. And it was a war to the death. I saw the media attacking the president and the president fighting back. And I knew at the end of that war, there would only be one of them standing. The mainstream media is being controlled by the deep state. And Trump is either going to kill the mainstream media and the deep state, or they're going to kill him. Not literally kill him, but get him impeached, put him out of business, silence him. That is what is at stake. Trump is either going to silence the mainstream media or they're going to silence him. And I believe Trump is going to win this war. He is winning. You watch. You watch what happens to the New York Times. Watch what happens to Washington Post and CNN in the next 6 months. You're going to see some big changes. And Trump knows what he's doing. Trust the plan. Facebook, the Facebook debacle is going to help the Internet Bill of Rights, I believe. Good question. Anti-NWO. Yeah, I like Sean Hannity, but yeah, I can't really listen to a whole lot of Hannity because he's harping on the same thing over and over and over and over again. He was for about 3 or 4 months there. He was just hollering and screaming about Mueller should be fired, and I got tired of hearing it because it was obvious from the beginning the plan was not to fire Mueller. The plan was to let Mueller do his job. And when someone just keeps hitting the same note over and over and over and over again, I have to go listen to someone else. So I like Sean. I think I'm glad he's on the president's side. He does a decent job of what he does. But I have to listen to other people. And I don't really listen to a whole lot of, I don't have TV at my house. I don't have Netflix. I do a lot of research on Q. And I try to spend my time writing books. So let me get caught up on the comments here real quick. I'm your only news for about 6 months. I'm other than conservative Treehouse and some, Your Voice America and some other people. I don't really listen to a whole lot of news. I really keep focused on what Sundance is doing on conservative Treehouse. God has given me quite a few dreams about conservative Treehouse and what's going on with the investigations at the Department of Justice and FBI. So I try to stay really narrowly focused on what God wants me to focus on, and I put the blinders on, and I don't get into the weeds and a lot of other things like people do. I can't afford to do it. I have to stay focused. I don't think you can do a really good job of analyzing Q unless you really focus on what's in front of you. It's easy to get sidetracked. Hey, Dina, Southeast Arizona. How you doing? Truth for Bear. Glad you love my books. I'm working on some more. Bunch of novels and some more books. Book on emotional healing and a book on power and authority. And I will be doing a book on dreams. Bill Mitchell thinks Mueller is a good guy. Do I? My take on Mueller and Rosenstein and people like that is, I know they have been compromised in the past. I know they're both involved in Uranium One, right? So they're compromised. They have exposure to some liability. All right. And actually most people do in government. For me, the question isn't, is Mueller a black hat or a white hat? Is Rosenstein a black hat or a white hat? I don't try to put hats on people. What I try to focus on is, how is Trump using that person and their exposure to liability to accomplish Trump's objectives? Look, Mueller is compromised. Mueller's involved in Uranium One. Mueller has done a lot of really bad things under Obama. You can just go back and look at it. The question I have is, did Trump make some kind of deal with Mueller to let him skate on his past in order to bring him in as special counsel? If that's the case, then Trump is using Mueller's past as leverage, and that is going to be to Trump's advantage. Those are the kind of things that I think about when I look at Mueller and Rosenstein. Same thing with Rosenstein. Rosenstein is, he's involved in Uranium One. So my question is, are Sessions and Trump using Rosenstein's past as a lever to get him to help them accomplish what they need to accomplish? If that's the case, then it doesn't matter what Rosenstein's past is. He's leveraged, and he's going to continue helping Sessions and Trump. So that's how I look at it. I don't look at it as black hat, white hat. I look at it as, how are Trump and Sessions using people who are compromised to accomplish their goals? All right, looking at the chat here to see if there's any more questions I can answer. Hey, is that GoTab True One from Mesa? How's it going, neighbor? I'm pretty close to Mesa. And I do not think there are any new Q drops. Let me check real quick. I'm going to the Q website. There have not been any new Q posts since March 18th. So everything that I put on this video, we're up to date. All right, Connie Miller shouted at me. What do I think Arizona is primarily made up of? Arizona is pretty conservative. overall, other than Phoenix. Phoenix is sort of liberal, but the rest of the state is very conservative. It's a lot of retired business people, especially Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, Peoria. Where am I from? East Valley of Phoenix. We may or may not see the arrest soon. As far as the arrests go, there's a, it all has to be timed. The arrests have to be timed correctly. We're taking down a large criminal network. And if you know anything about prosecuting the mob, organized crime, you have to pull the trigger on arrests for an organized criminal syndicate very carefully. You don't want any of them to escape. So you have all these indictments, sealed indictments that are piling up. And they have to be opened, and the people have to be arrested at the right time so nobody gets away. Think about this. The Office of Inspector General report is said to be due out end of March, sometime in April. Okay. If the OIG report comes out and it names names of people that need to be arrested, fired, prosecuted, if those people get wind of it, they may try to flee. So this whole thing has to be a very controlled demolition. And I know people are upset, and I know they're angry, and they're tired of waiting, but I'm telling you, you have to just wait and trust that these people in the Justice Department know what they're doing. I had this dream, it was probably 4 or 5 months ago. It was back in November, where I saw all of these criminal people all being rounded up and arrested all at once. Like nothing was happening for a long time before that, and then on one day, boom, a whole bunch of people got arrested. I think that day is coming. And we're just going to have to wait for it. Look, I am not an FBI agent. I am not an attorney with the Department of Justice. I don't know how they do their work. I'm a paramedic. If you need to be defibrillated, or if you need an IV and some medication, I'm the guy. You can ask me, I'll tell you how to do it. I am not in law enforcement. So for me to second guess law enforcement is stupid, because I don't know anything about what those guys do, how they do their arrests on criminal syndicates. So I would try not to get stressed out and not to get angry. Hang in there. These guys know what they're doing. They've got a plan. I have not heard any recent updates on Broward County other than somebody drove a car into one of the, was it the sheriff's department or the school building or something yesterday? Crazy stuff. Right. And who was it? Byron York was reporting yesterday that the OIG report may be delayed until May. How he knows that, I don't know. Some people say he doesn't know what he's talking about. Look, probably April, maybe May. Wouldn't be too worried about it. Just hang in there. It's going to come out eventually. I have gotten in a routine with my dreams. I started having dreams in 2008. I very quickly got into, I read a book on dream interpretation. Let's see if I got it here. You know what? This was not the first book I read on dreams, but it's a really good one. Understanding the Dreams You Dream by Ira Milligan is a really good dream book. I first read Dream Language by James Gall. Love both of those books. They're very good. I got into a habit of, as soon as I wake up, I usually have a dream middle of the night. I had a dream this morning at 2 o'clock, woke up, wrote it down, and then I couldn't sleep the rest of the night. I've been up since 2 o'clock. But yeah, it's for me, it's a habit. I have little index cards, pen, and a little flashlight on the nightstand. If I have a dream, I wake up as soon as I can. I don't process it. I don't go back to sleep. I write it down, and then I try to go back to sleep. And it's a matter of discipline. You just have to discipline yourself to do it. Deborah, you keep a dream journal. It's a really good idea. Yes, Wolf Moon Girl, very good point. Emergency broadcast alerts. I've been seeing messages on Twitter from people on the East Coast who have been getting emergency broadcast alerts. And Q told us one of the ways that Trump and his team are going to alert us to events that we need to know about is through the emergency broadcast system. And I don't quite know exactly what that's all about, but it sounds like Q has hinted in the past we're going to be hearing more of that. I anticipate that Q will give us an update in the future that will explain how they're using that. But no, other people have noticed it too. John Paul Jackson was one of the best teachers on dream interpretation that there is. Most of the people that I really respect in dream interpretation, they learn from John Paul Jackson. Do I listen to American intelligence media? No, I do not. Lots of sonic booms. Yeah, there's a lot of booms going on around the world. We don't quite know what those booms are yet. Some people use a tape recorder. Some people I have a friend who has a computer on a nightstand by her bedside. Some people use a voice recorder. Everybody's a little bit different. Some people tried the voice recorder and they couldn't understand what they were saying when they woke up, so they went to writing it down. I prefer writing myself. Is McCabe going to bring Comey down? He doesn't have to. Look, McCabe and Comey are both guilty as sin. They're at the top. There aren't going to be any deals for McCabe and Comey. They are so guilty, it's crazy. Watch, you'll see. Yeah, some people believe that the booms are underground munitions in the underground military bases. It's one theory. I don't really know. I haven't looked into it enough to really know what that's about. It's possible that the boom, boom, boom that Q's been talking about is in relation to the booming sounds that people are hearing all over the world. Q did say learn double meanings, right? So a lot of the things that Q posts that's kind of mysterious, it has 2 or 3 meanings. Wow. Truth for bearer. That's an interesting dream. I don't see Jesus in my dreams very often unless he shows up as somebody that I know and he's disguised. Angels sometimes show up that way in my dreams. I know the only reason I know it's an angel is it's like everybody else is normal height and there's this woman or this man that's like 11 feet tall and I'm like, they look normal, like a cop or something, but I know that's an angel. Zuckerberg has some issues to deal with. That is true. Bombs and shootings are the clown's dead cats. Yeah, well, this guy that I follow, Midnight Rider 20 on Twitter, he has been following the explosions in Texas. you want some information on that, follow Midnight Rider 20 on Twitter. He's been doing some research. He has inside information. That's all I'm going to say. Yeah, someone said don't forget to like the video. Like, subscribe, share it. Mainly, tell your friends and family about Q. That's the real deal. We want to red pill the normies about Q. All right, I am going to get going, and I'm going to jump over on Periscope and do this all over again. My wife is out, so I got a little bit of time to kill. Thank you all for joining me on my very first live Q broadcast. It will not be my last. I hope to do more live Q updates. Hey, you know, I said, like the video, share it, subscribe. I'm sure a lot of you already subscribed to my channel. So that's it. I'm going to let you go. Take care. I will catch you on the next broadcast.